Great. Hi, I'm Chloe Brown, former mayoral candidate and policy analyst. I am here today with Sheena Sharp, candidate for Don Valley West, and we're here tonight to talk about some of the issues that are affecting Torontonians. Good evening, Sheena.
Good evening, Chloe.
How are
Nice to see you again. I'm great. Thank you.
Good. Sorry, it's been a while.
I know. I know.
It's been a while, but the same issues are affecting Torontonians. I want to open the floor by, let's get to know what ward you're fighting for. What are the intersections that make up where you live?
Okay, so we go from Yonge Street to Leslie.
Okay.
Our northern boundary is the 401, and our southern boundary is Thorncliffe Park.
Okay. What are the three issues affecting your ward right now?
I think that in talking to people at the doors, it's housing affordability, traffic, and most people say climate change.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. This is not your first rodeo.
No.
Now that we're in 2024, we are really at what I've heard is a poly crisis. All those three things, housing, traffic, and climate change, are working together to really hand us our dinner.
Yes, yes.
Can you tell me three things that you would do to focus on housing and make it better for Torontonians?
I think the key thing in housing, particularly in our ward, is we have a lot of housing, but it's not appropriate, right? Really expensive one bedrooms that no one can afford, and not very much housing for families. And so I think we need to kind of we have a lot of towers, particularly along Eglinton.
Okay.
And so what we need more low-rise buildings. And not because they'll have different types of units. They will have more 2 bedrooms, they could, and more 3 bedrooms, they could. But they're cheaper to build. And if the city can clear away the approval processes and make it much more simple, then we can actually lower the costs. And then those can compete against the towers. People can probably have cheaper housing. We'll have a much bigger supply, right? And this isn't going to happen overnight, right? Rebuilding stuff, it takes time. But I think that would hit a lot of groups, like young people who want to start to have kids. They pretty much have to move out of the city right now. And I think a real community allows for community connections, right? You need people at a bunch of different salary levels to fill all the jobs. And you also need people at different times of their lives, right? So you need to have grandparents living close to their grandchildren. You need to have people. Right now we have people living in apartments, and I've knocked on their doors, both at York Mills and Thorncliffe Park, and they say, like, all we want is a bigger place that we can afford. But like right now there's practically no 3 bedrooms in the city. Right? If we could focus on getting 3 bedrooms, it would really get things moving. Like we're stuck in housing that we don't really like. It's not appropriate for us. We need more variety. That's what we need.
Agreed. So better unit sizes, better quality of units instead of just investment.
Yes.
Yeah, I definitely agree there. As a young person trying to figure out how can I stay in the city, it's becoming increasingly difficult to not only live here, but to also get around. So to the second point, traffic. Traffic, it has become one of those character building moments of my day, to say the least. And because you're in the north end of the city, I think the media doesn't really give a lot of attention to the type of traffic issues that we see south of the city at the Gardner. So can you give me an idea of what traffic looks like and the solutions that you would bring for it?
There's 2 types of people, two viewpoints in the ward. One is that I want to drive fast in my car. Why do we have bike lanes, right? And then there's other people who are very concerned about safety, particularly for their kids, right? And there are, particularly around Eglinton, there's a lot of people who try to bypass Eglinton by going through the neighborhoods. They successfully do it, but they go too fast, right? So we have traffic calming. I think some of it will naturally go away when and if the crosstown ever starts running, right?
True.
Because right now we have narrow roads because they put bike lanes on the crosstown,
Yeah.
right? And they and so now all the same number of buses. There's 6 buses that go through the ward, 6 different lines because they branch off further out.
Yeah.
That go through the ward that are now in less lanes, and there's the same number going on Eglinton, right?
Right.
So some of that will start to go away. I think we need a little bit of inspiration. This also crosses over into climate change, right? We have to get off gas.
Right.
Electric cars are way too expensive, right? You can see, look at what the couriers are doing. Like the couriers are going on like electric bikes, right? And that is because it's cheap and they can go miles and miles on like $10, right?